Live. Today, of course, I'm talking about what's going on in the United States, what's going on in our country right now. Every American should be concerned. You know, I'm sure you're probably like me. You've been talking about this for several years. I'm going to share a story with you. About 30 years ago, I have a friend who works in intelligence, and he started telling me about what was happening in the country and what was about to happen. And he really was trying to hire me. He saw me at a city council meeting, and I was going back and forth with our city council members. I was on the economic development board, and we were talking about development at that time. So he was trying to get me to come and work for them. But what I did not know is what I was seeing in my small town, well, a suburb of Dallas, was something on a larger scale that was happening throughout the entire world. And so he explained all of this to me. And as he was explaining it to me, it looked like it was something that was something out of a movie. I had no idea that in 30 years we would be where we are today. For those of you who've not awakened, we are in a new world order, a global reset. And this is not just me saying this. There are videos, and you can go and look it up. I also have the video on my site where our Vice President, J.D. Vance, announced the New World Order. This was a few months ago. And he said that under the Trump presidency, we are in a New World Order. Now, what does that mean? That means that we're changing a lot of what's going on in this country. And when I say a lot, I mean a whole lot is different right now. And it's different because they planned it to be different. I say this to people all the time when they say, well, where are you getting all of this information from? I said, they told you. They're not hiding, and they have not hidden it. The people who planned the New World Order, and it's not just people in the United States. This is something that they plan to be global. However, we have been blessed because some of their global plans have not worked. But let me just go straight to the point right now. What I like to talk about now is everyone in the country now is talking about all of the data centers that they're building in the United States. And a lot of people are like, what are those data centers? And people think all they're for is for them to build artificial intelligence. The real truth is that that's not all that it's for. The data centers are really to have artificial intelligence, and then you have to find out, what is the artificial intelligence doing? Why are we building artificial intelligence? What's the purpose of it? And so I want to go into that a little bit. And then we're also finding out it's not just for artificial intelligence. It's also to surveil citizens. And the thing about it, I say this, the reason that we have problems with the billionaire cabal is because they don't know us, and they don't see us as humans like they see themselves and their billionaire friends. I think in order to be seen as human, you have to have a yacht that's so many thousand square feet, 25, 30, 40, 50,000 square feet. If you don't have a yacht that size, then you're not considered as one of the humans. And therefore, they feel like they can do anything to us. And let's go back. Where did this start? Where did all of this start? Actually, if you want to look at where the World Economic Forum started, it started at Harvard University, and it was started by Henry Kissinger, and he then he recruited Klaus Schwab to come and work for them. Now, all of these people were eugenics. They believed that they have control over the world. It was their responsibility to keep the world population at a minimum so that we don't use up the world's resources. Now, first of all, let me dispel this. The world is not overpopulated. It has never been overpopulated. As a matter of fact, they say that the entire world's population can live in Texas and be no more crowded than in New York City. Therefore, you have all of these billionaires. Just to get back to the point, my whole point is, what are they doing? And why are they doing it? And we're looking at data centers in the United States. And if you'll look, please look at my videos. My videos will show you how they have data centers in the United States. We have now, they say, over 5,000. Now they're trying to hide some of them because there's been so much backlash. Americans are finally waking up. And I always say this, I have been talking to people for years. I have one person, and she actually passed almost a year ago, that I could talk to about really what was going on with this global reset. And as a matter of fact, she told me a lot of the information herself, things that I was not even aware of. But as I'm trying to make people aware that what we're seeing in this country does not benefit you. It does not benefit me because I don't have billionaire buddies. I don't know, maybe you do. If you're listening to me and you have billionaire buddies, it might affect them and their families. It does not positively affect me. And this is the scenario that's going on. We have over 4,000 data centers that they know about or that they claim in the United States. The country next to us has a little over 500. Now tell me why the United States needs 5,000 of anything that everybody else has 500 and below. I have no idea. I think the next country to us is the United Kingdom. Then they say one of the things that the people that own the data centers say is that we need to keep up with China. China only has 446 data centers, and they are still far more advanced than we are technologically. If they're advanced technologically over us, why then is it that we have all these data centers? Why are we doing it? And we're asking taxpayers to pay for it. For those of you who are just joining me, I'm Dr. Dee Curtis. My doctorate is in public policy and law. I am a strong advocate for taxpayers. That's what I do. I'm always on here. You can see me, follow me on YouTube, TikTok. I'm on Substack, and also on Upscroll, several other platforms, talking about how do we protect American taxpayers. And do you know the greatest challenge to protecting American taxpayers is to make American taxpayers realize that they need to be protected. That is my greatest challenge, is what do I do to make people realize that we are in trouble? That is extremely difficult sometimes. When I tell people we're in trouble, they tend to ignore me. I mean, they really do. My family, I don't care who it is. Well, it's not that bad. And I'll give you an example. Right now, when they are talking about data centers, and I have young people say, oh, they're just building AI. And what does AI do? It's for us to have games. It's for us, if you want to write something, all you have to do is tell AI what the subject is and they'll write it for you. That's not what AI is for. That's the very small part. That's the very smallest part that might benefit you. The greatest part is that AI is making artificial intelligence. And what is that? Those little robots that you see that are replacing people. And I want to give you these numbers quickly. If you look at layoffs, the recent layoffs, Meta, okay, first of all, you have 5 companies that have these data centers, and they're the hyper centers. And with them, these 5 companies, it's Microsoft, of course, Bill Gates is involved. Of course, it would not be there if Bill Gates were not involved in something that's going to harm the American taxpayer. Then you have Amazon, Google, Meta, and Apple. They all are very involved. Microsoft has 300. Amazon has 215, Google has 25, Meta has 24, and Apple have 10 data centers in this country. Now you ask yourself, why does Microsoft alone need more data centers in China? I don't know. You know, I'm sure it's something very devious, very heinous that they have decided or that they have come up with. Now, at the same time that they're building data centers, this is the way it works. When they need a data center, and they're building huge ones, as a matter of fact, I'm sure that you've heard about the one that Kevin O'Leary is building in Utah that's over 40,000 acres. It's over 62 miles, 40,000 acres, 62 miles. They're taking farmland. They're taking the most beautiful land all over the country in the mountains by our streams and everything. And they're building these huge, huge data centers, and they're expecting taxpayers to pay for it. They're using our water because the technology that they use, it requires water in order to cool their facilities. You can go and look it up and you can see many videos that they've made about how they have to cool these places. Now, let me tell you the difference in billionaires and you and me. I've owned a company for almost 20 years. You know, it never occurred to me to go to my city council and tell my city council it was the city's responsibility to pay for me and my company. It didn't occur to me to do that. But billionaires think differently from the rest of us. You know, if you've ever opened a restaurant, you're not going to your city council and expecting your taxpayers to pay for your restaurant. I don't care what kind of business business it is. American taxpayers, we are accustomed to taking care of ourselves. The billionaire cabal, when they need something that's even going to be detrimental to us, they go to our city council meetings, they will go to our county commissioners, and they will ask or even almost require or request that we pay for what they have. And so that's what's happened in this country. We have the billionaires that have gone to our city councils. And just imagine this. You have your city council and you're some little town somewhere in Kentucky or somewhere in Idaho. And all of a sudden someone comes to an economic development meeting and says that they are representing Bill Gates or they're representing Mark Zuckerberg or whomever, Jeff Bezos, and they want to build this facility in your city. Now, they're going to have a great marketing plan and it's going to look really good and they're going to show this big facility and they're saying we're hiring all of these people. And now if you're on that city council, it sounds really good. We're going to hire, say, 3,000 people to start. The thing that they forgot to tell you is that the 3,000 people that they're hiring are contractors that are doing the build out of their facilities. Those are your carpenters, plumbers, electricians, and people like that. Now, the thing that they forgot to tell you, as soon as they do the build out, we will then lay them off. Those are contractors. They don't work for us. In the meantime, we're laying off 30,000 people that do work for us. And I'm saying that, and I'm not being facetious, because Amazon has laid off 30,000 people because they're building artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? Those little robots that you see. And they're bragging about it. We have robots now that can take the jobs of all the kids at McDonald's. Let me ask you something. Where are the high school kids going to work when these data centers build all of this artificial intelligence? Where are your kids going to work? Where are all the people going to work? You know, now I even saw videos where they said we have artificial intelligence that can teach now. You know, the one thing that we did is going to artificial intelligence when we were using computers for everything. And then you have the Bill Gates, the eugenist who said, we don't need people. We can let our artificial intelligence become the people. They're the ones that can do all of the things that we think other people need to do. We can let them do it. Why is it that we are paying someone to do something that we can have a robot to do? Just think, if they're paying for a robot to do something, and I really don't know, I'm so sorry, in one of my lives, I'll see how much they cost. But say, for instance, they don't cost but $10,000. You don't have a worker that you're going to pay $10,000. Your workers are going to make 30, 40 up from that. So you have an artificial intelligence, a robot or whatever, that's taking the job of your teacher. Your starting pay for teachers in most of the Dallas area, your starting pay is $70,000 a year. They're not paying $70,000 for this robot. And then they have the screen up there, and the kids have their own computer system. So the entire education industry, all of these teachers, all of these education lobbies that they have out there, I wonder what they're saying now that they're saying they're about to be replaced by machines. Then you think about it. They say everybody can be replaced. There are very few, even, and you know, they've been using robots in healthcare forever. You just think about it. I went to the World IT Convention. It was probably, I think, in 2005 or 6, and it was in Austin, Texas. They were talking about using robots then for all medical procedures, and you know that happens. I mean, they do not need doctors anymore. They won't need nurses. They don't need medical assistants. They don't need lab technicians. Those people will be replaced by the artificial intelligence that Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Kevin O'Leary, all of these people are asking you as a taxpayer in your communities, in your states. They're asking you to pay for their facilities, let them use all of your water, let them use your electricity, which means it's going to put a burden on your electrical grid, and therefore your electricity bill is going to triple. They're asking you to give up all of that so that they can build a data center to lay off all of the people in your community. Let me ask you this. What is General Motors going to do when all of their employees are now artificial intelligence? What's going to happen with General Motors? What's going to happen with any of these companies when they don't need people anymore? And the scary part about that is if you've paid attention to any of these people, is they've been saying for years that, we're overpopulated. We've never been overpopulated. Say that again. We've never been overpopulated. What they were trying to do is to get us to where when they had their depopulation agenda, we could always, you have people, because I argue with people about that all the time. Well, y'all know we have overpopulation. I said, that's a lie. We do not have overpopulation. That's a huge lie. Huge lie. As a matter of fact, I think they say that humans only consume, or we take up only about 5% of the space on Earth. We take up a very small percentage of the land mass on this planet. Very small percentage. Now, if Bill Gates wants to go, or Kevin O'Leary, or anyone wants to go and spend 40,000 acres on one company, yes, in a few years, there won't be anywhere for humans, okay? There's always going to be places for them and whatever their next swim is. And I'm going to tell you the scary part about this. I've been researching this quite a bit. When it really became popular in the last month or so, I say this war that they're going through is hiding a whole lot of things behind. If you move everything from behind, you'll see all of a sudden these data centers started coming up, and you have city councils, you have county commissioners that are betraying the people that put them in office. And so this is what I say to anyone. You see all of these data centers coming up where the billionaire cabal expects us to pay for their new, whatever their little new shiny toy is. Right now, their toy is data centers. And the problem with data centers, I heard that most of the infrastructure has to be replaced every 3 years. So if it has to be replaced every 3 years, what's that going to do to your taxes? What is that going to do to your grid? What is that going to do to the grid in Texas? Because in Texas, we have almost 500 data centers in Texas. We are one of maybe the only state that has a grid just for Texas. So what is going to happen in our grid? Does that mean that my lights are going to go off all the time? And then another thing, okay, you look at them consuming water. And there are many videos on YouTube, on TikTok, on all of the social media where you have communities where they built these centers, and when they turn on their water, it just trickles. They do not have enough water in their homes to flush their toilets. Do you think Bill Gates cares? No, he doesn't. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg cares that you can't flush your toilets in your house? Let that go on for a long period of time, and then you ask the question, if you're giving all of the water to the billionaire cult, then what happens with your city when you're looking at your city water system? What is happening to your sewage systems? All of these systems that depend on water, and it has to have a certain amount of water for it to run properly. What is happening in our cities when all of these people are doing whatever they want to do? Guess what? We are suffering because they have a new toy. Do you know what the new billionaire toy is now? It's called data centers. That is their new toy. And they're looking like, look, we've always done what we wanted to do. We go and we pay off city council members. We pay off county commissioners. We pay off the people on the economic development boards. We pay off state legislatures and definitely governors. And when we get to the whole U.S. Congress, we pay off everybody in the administration, the executive administration, and all the judges. And so we do normally whatever we want to do. So it's okay if we totally destroy one of the most beautiful places in Nebraska, or one of the most beautiful areas in Washington state. It does not matter that we take all of your resources so that we can be little spoiled brats. Again, I'm Dr. Dee Curtis. Please, I'm asking you to come in my live. Also, I want you to make sure that you do follow me on here, that you subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you save my video. And also, I do have, on here, because since I'm going through the system, we do have a tip box. If you would like to tip, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I wanted to just tell people that are doing it, thank you so much for my tips. I appreciate it tremendously. And also, you can comment on my video and make sure that you visit my website at Dr. D.D. Curtis, D-E-E-D-E-E Curtis.com. Also, you can visit me on all of the other platforms at D.D. Curtis and also on TikTok at Dr. D-E-E-C. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'm talking about what's going on in our country. And you know what I say, I am at the age that I went through the civil rights movement. I was a little girl. I do remember because my parents were very involved in it. My mother was extremely involved in it. She was a civil rights advocate. And I remember things that we had to do for the first time. Many people in America, this is why we're having an issue. Many people have not been through anything that is harmful, that harms their families. They have not been through anything because that's new to the United States. But since we have all of these globalists that wanted to take over the world, they didn't care what they did to our country. They did not care what they were doing to Americans because that's just what they do. And you know, I say this. The reason we have all of these problems with data centers is because we flunked several tests. We flunked the COVID test when they told us to close our businesses, but they allowed Amazon and Walmart to stay open. When they closed all of these companies, the smaller companies like my company, I had been in business 20 years. I closed in COVID just like many, many other people. And you never hear anybody talk about that. But we didn't have a choice. If all of the businesses were closed, then you didn't have a choice. If they said everybody closes, we're shutting down our state, you did not have a choice. If your business relied on one of the federal entities or state entities, you did not have a choice. So you had all of these companies that were closed during COVID. We flunked COVID. We did everything that the billionaire cabal told us to do. We flunked. When they told us to go to the hospital and wear masks or to put on ventilators, and now we're seeing what happened to all of the people that were on ventilators, that was exactly the wrong thing to tell people to do, but people did it, and now we have all of these people who were unalive because they were put on ventilators or they used remdesivir. We did exactly as we were told to do. When we did that, the billionaire cabal celebrated because it showed that we were extremely pliable. That means that we were easily enslaved. It's easy for them to create a serfdom with us because a majority of the people will always believe what they're told. It's something the Cloward-Piven theory, where they create all of these crises and everything, and it's really to program you, to control you. And whatever they do, you're okay, fine. They said do it. And you know, I'm sure you still see people at the grocery stores with those little thin masks that do not filter anything, but they still have on masks because they feel comfortable because their government told them to wear a mask. That lets them know that it's okay and that we can have data centers. They can take our water from our homes. They can take our electricity from our homes. They can put all of the stress on our power grid so that our electricity in our homes is constantly going out, but they need it, and they can convince our city councils, our economic development boards, our county commissioners to take electricity, to take water from the people that put them in office and give it to the billionaire cabal. Because as I said, the thing about it is you look at these people, because they have money, everybody just stops and says, oh, okay, whatever. So you look at it again. For those of you who are just joining me, I'm Dr. D.D. Curtis. I'm talking about what's going on in our country, what is going on with data centers, the amount of layoffs that they have. And this is another thing. Not only are they taking all of our utilities, but they're also laying off. And I'm going to give you some layoffs. Again, Meta has laid off 8,000 employees. They said they're laying off about 10% of their workforce. That's just right now. Imagine once they build all of these little robots that are to take it, they'll probably go down to where a human workforce could be 10, 15, 20%. So they are eliminating, and we're talking about the billionaire cabal. Then you have Amazon has laid off 30,000 people. 30,000. Let me ask you this. When I saw all of the things that Jeff Bezos was doing with Amazon, I realized, I said, Jeff Bezos does not need my little $20 that I spend once a month with them. So since Jeff Bezos does not care about humans, and he just laid off 30,000 humans so that he can replace them with robots, I don't shop at Amazon anymore. That's my choice. It's his choice to go to my city council and tell them that he needs all of my water or that he needs all of my utilities. It's my choice to say, you know what? You don't need my $20 because you're looking for big money. You don't need my money. And so for Americans, for us to be able to, how do we respond to them? Are the things that are important to them. Amazon is important to Jeff Bezos. It's important to him. And you don't have to, this is why people always say, what do we do? It's so overwhelming. I was like, you know the thing about it, and I used to run a college and I would have students come in all the time and they would be so overwhelmed with life. And you know what I would always do? I said, okay, let me tell you, what's your largest challenges? Take it one bite at a time, one step at a time. Fix one thing at a time. You're not going to take it all. And the reason you're overwhelmed is because it is so much and it's huge. Make it smaller. Whatever your challenges are, make it smaller. So you know what? No, I'm not just Dee Curtis. I'm not going to be able to fight Jeff Bezos. I'm not going to be able to fight Bill Gates. But you know what I can do? I can keep my $20 and not give it to Amazon. And just think of how many of us, if we kept our $20 and not give it to Jeff Bezos, everybody say, well, you know, you're not going to get everybody. But I tell you what, a company that loses 20% of its revenues, 20% is a lot. Is a whole lot. They start losing 10%, their managers are gonna like, okay, our sales are down 10%. Let them get to 20%. Their executive managers will start, oh my God, what is happening? Ever let it get to 50%? If you don't believe me, ask Coca-Cola. Remember when Coca-Cola became very woke and they stopped, well, whatever they were doing I think it had something to do with transgender. I don't remember. I'm a great boycotter. Half the time I don't even remember why I'm boycotting. I just boycott because they're doing something that I think is detrimental to mankind. This is what everyone has to do. I had a conversation with someone in my family, and I was talking about AI and these data centers. I was saying, you know, everybody needs to go to city council meetings. I don't care if you've ever been to a city council meeting in your life. When you turn on your water faucet and the water that comes out of it is red, for whatever reason, you know that you're not supposed to drink something that's red. You're not supposed to bathe in something that's red. When that happens to you, then you will stop looking at AI and the fact that it creates games for you and it creates graphics for you and it creates documents for you. Then AI is no longer your friend. AI then becomes your enemy because AI has taken over things that are important to you, things that you need for yourself, your family, your homes. And so I say this to everybody, all of the people that laughed at us and said we were conspiracy theories. And I tell people, you know, I'm a researcher. I stay up all night long reading information from all over the world. I mean, so like even when they started the war with Iran, I did not have to do a lot of research on that area. I had been researching it for 10 years. I understood the geopolitics of the wars in that area and who started them, why they started them, and what were the end results. I had been studying that for years. Americans are going to have to get like that. You're going to have to realize that the people that we spend all of our money on, the people that are billionaires, and this was the greatest awakening for me. I was like, do y'all know that billionaires don't become billionaires because they're smarter than you? You realize that, don't you? Because they have something you don't have. The only thing that they have government contracts. Number one, they get their money because through government contracts. They know someone that works for the EPA. They know someone that works for the Department of Defense or Department of Education or Department of something, the Department of Labor. They get the huge contracts because they are at all of the parties and the meetings with the people that run all of these agencies. They're with the people that you elect. Then give your tax dollars to their buddies. Then their buddies, it doesn't take long. before they're billionaires. If they get a contract for 10 years, they will go from making, say, 100,000 in 10 years to being a multi-billionaire because they have contracts. And then not only do they get those contracts, then they get really smart and create NGOs, non-government organizations. They have those. And, right now you have young people all over the country. Nick, that's going all over the country. He started in Minnesota, and then he's in California as well, looking at the government contracts where these people say they have schools. They go to the schools. There are no students, no teachers, and no chairs. And we were doing that all over the world. When you look at the Doge audits and what was going on with it, it proved, Elon Musk proved that all of these NGOs, as a matter of fact, this is my take on NGOs. I don't think they should exist. I don't really even believe in nonprofits. I believe they need to get another category for help organizations. And help organizations, yes. If you're doing something in healthcare for anyone, if you're doing something to help the homeless, but all of these nonprofits, because when they did the Doge audit, they found out that $40 trillion was used in our federal agencies. And I say, and fraudulently, they cannot account for $40 trillion. And that's not with them going to every agency. That's just a few agencies. So anyway, back to what is going on in our country. What is going on in our country is that we as Americans have told the billionaire cabal that they can do whatever they want to. They can exterminate people whenever they want to. They can create systems that are terrible for us. Like I always say, Bill Gates is always trying to find something like, now they're printing meat. What the heck? What the heck is printed meat? What is all of that? Then I know you all have seen lately, they said they're dropping ticks in farm areas. And so what do the ticks do? They go and either, they kill all of the animals. So now the farmers do not have livestock. And so if the farmers don't have livestock, what does that mean? Where do we get our meat from? We don't have anywhere to get our meat from unless we get it from them. Now, let's go back to the data centers. And let's go to the data centers and people saying that it's digital surveillance. They are surveilling us. And they brag about it. We can see you in your homes. You have all of these people talking about seeing us in our homes and controlling everything we do. You know what? I would say, you know what a billionaire should do? They should take off 1 year and just be a regular person. Live off of $50,000 a year and find out what it is that we people that live off of $50,000 a year do. We are boring. There is no reason for you to surveil me. I told you, so y'all are surveilling me. I am the most boring person I know. You're going to get really bored looking at what I do constantly. You will be very bored with me. And so I say to you, if you're not aware of several things, first of all, all of these, the systems that they're using right now that really, really are harmful to Americans, the data centers that they have where they're taking all of our farmland, but Bill Gates didn't want us to farm anyway. They don't think we should have food. And somewhere along the line, they forgot that they are not the only humans on the planet. I think they believe that you have to pass the yacht test, or, they say they have all of these other things that they do, and that's where we get that Epstein class from. They think if you don't go through their rituals or their initiation services, you are not important. You're not important to the world. And so they feel that they can do whatever they want to do. So we have data centers, 5,000 in the United States. These data centers are taking our water that we need in our communities. They say in Texas in the next few years that the 9 or 10% of the water in Texas will be used in data centers. So just think. You have a data center. I know they're building one, I believe, in Amarillo or wherever. Several cities in Texas. I know in one of our counties here, they said they cannot build here. They had to go and they were doing some studies before they can build anywhere in this area. But many cities, many counties are saying you cannot come here. And it's because all it is, this is what data centers are. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Kevin O'Leary, whatever, they go into a city council meeting, and the people that you grew up with, the people that you go to PTA meetings with, the band booster club meetings with, your kid plays soccer with, those people sign away your rights, your freedom, and your property to these billionaires, and the billionaires want you to pay for it as taxpayers. And you know why they want you to pay for it? Because taxpayers pay for everything. We've always paid for everything. You know, 90% of the money that goes into the U.S. Treasury comes from payroll taxes and income taxes. 90%, okay? That means we pay for everything so that they can be billionaires, so that they can then come to us and say, now we need your water. We needed all your taxes. You know, where they've always said that. We need all your money. You're working and you cannot afford a vacation. But you know what? We're on constant vacation. The only thing we ever do is we meet to try to find out things that we can do to harm you. And that's what Bill Gates them do. What is it that we can do to harm the majority of the people? Those people have decided that they control everything you do. Their data centers are not just doing AI so that you can play games and do all of the other things and create graphics and letters and things. That is not what their AI is doing. Their AI is replacing you if you work for Ford Motor Company, if you work for General Motors, if you work for General Dynamics. The AI that they are talking about, that's the AI. The AI that's replacing humans. Understand that. And then you have to be very concerned with when they replace humans with AI, what are they going to do with the humans? Maybe that's why they have all the ticks so that humans cannot eat. And it could lead to starvation. You know, it could lead to starvation. If we cannot grow our own crops, if they grow our crops for us, they can put anything on those crops. We need to be very concerned about these people who feel that they have the responsibility to take care of us. And I hear people say, please don't say this to me. Please do not put this in my comments. People will say this to me all the time. Well, what happens? Where is our government? I start laughing. I'm like, where are you? Don't you realize that for any of this to happen, your government, they're the ones that allowed it to happen. Your city council, start there. Start with the person that lives next door to you that asked you to help them run for city council, and you had signs and you did all of the little political walks. You walked the neighborhood and talked to people, and you planned for this person to be on the city council, and that city council person that you did all of that work for, that you even gave donations to, that city council person is now the person that signed for Bill Gates to take the water from your house, for Mark Zuckerberg to use your electricity, so your electricity bill is now $1,500 instead of $500. Those are the people that you have to be concerned with. Your city council, your economic development boards, your county commissioners. Then you have to go all the way and keep going. All of the judges that you have elected, all of the people in your state, your governors, your lieutenant governors. Then you go to your federal level and all of your Congress people, your entire executive administration, and then even your judicial system. We have given our country away to people who do not care about us. For those of you who are just joining me, I'm Dr. Dee Curtis. I'm not just standing up here talking. I'm trying to wake Americans up. All of the people that use that term conspiracy theory, if you ever use the term conspiracy theory again, that means that you probably graduated from the 4th grade, because everything that they told us was going to happen has happened, and it's 10 times worse than we ever thought. I don't ever use that term at all. I don't use the terms misinformation, disinformation, because that's all relative. Misinformation, like right now, I'm sure Bill Gates, if he heard my conversation, he said that's misinformation. I'm going to say to Bill Gates, when you tell us that you have to buy all the farmland, because that's misinformation, because you don't need all the farmland. You need to go over there and run Microsoft, because Microsoft is no longer good. I used to be a beta tester for Microsoft. I worked in IT. It used to be a great company. It's not good anymore. Their products aren't good anymore. Why are their products not good anymore? Because their executive managers, instead of them trying to figure out ways to help mankind, they're trying to figure out ways to destroy mankind. Understand that. So for everybody that you feel that these people are here to help us, the main thing that everyone should do is understand their goal with this New World Order that our Vice President J.D. Vance announced. The New World Order is a serfdom. It is apartheid. It's slavery. It's all of those things that you heard about that happened in the past. They're going to do it, and this time, in order to make you do what they say, to control you, they're going to have little robots. And those little robots, you shoot at them, it just keeps going. So your weapons won't even do anything to them, because they're also going to have the drones that come from the top, and your gun cannot shoot up that high. Do you understand what these people are doing to us? And I say this all the time, and I'm going to end with this. Anyone that would think of a system to harm children the way we know those people did with Epstein Island, and we know many of the same people that that have all of these data centers, they are all included in the Epstein issue, okay? If they would do something to harm children, they will do anything to anyone at any time. They cannot be trusted. So what we do as Americans, go to your city council meeting. Start with your city council. Start with your neighbor. Start with your pastor that you put on the city council. Ask your pastor, why did you turn on mankind? Not just on the community, but they're turning on mankind. They understand what these people have. These have planned. Their plan is to annihilate up to, what did they say, up to 7 billion people. If you know that, why is the person that you helped get on the city council helping these people? Why are the people that you helped, like right now, I know someone in our county commissioner's court, actually 2 people that I helped. They've been on there a long time, and they're not on the side of us. They're not on the side of humans or the side of people. They're on the side of the billionaire cabal whose goal it is to destroy mankind, to destroy me, and to destroy you. Anyway, I'm Dr. Dee Curtis. Please visit me. I have videos on here. Of course, YouTube suppresses my videos tremendously. So does TikTok. But the one place I have Substack, make sure that you follow me on Substack at Dr. Dee Curtis. And look at my videos on here. And also I have a website at drddcurtis.com. Please subscribe to my channel. And again, for those of you who gave me tips, I do on this system, they do allow us to take tips. Thank you so much. It's the same as gifts in TikTok. So thank you so much for my gifts. I appreciate you tremendously, and I'll see you in the next couple of days. Thank you.